What are the concerns claimed here? Is there any link between the blood clots that we've seen happen in Europe and the vaccine?
Look, it's actually that term we've heard a lot of recently, abundance of caution, in operation here. These blood clots conditions that they're talking about, there've been that deep vein thrombosis and also clots in the lungs. They've reported 37 across countries across Europe, including the UK, but that's after 17 million people have been given the AstraZeneca vaccine. So it's actually not a strong link. It's something that we see in the community anyway. The rates are around 52 per 100,000. That's what you'd normally expect. In these older age groups, the rates can be even higher. So in fact, 37 out of 17 million cases is a very low number. They're just stopping to pause and make sure that there isn't a causal link. We don't understand how there could be with this vaccine, but they're just being extra cautious. And most of them are looking at just a week or two, and some of them are only looking at the particular batch that was used in association with the case in their region.
Right, so essentially blood clots occur. If they somehow occurred after a vaccine, could it be that they're not specific to the AstraZeneca vaccine, but to either a batch or just the way an injection is administered in any circumstance?
Look, I think it's more likely just that we have clotting disorders anyway. And as I said, they're actually quite common, particularly in those age groups. So if someone was going to have a blood clot form anyway, and they happen to have the AstraZeneca vaccine that week, or Pfizer for that matter, they've seen these also associated with Pfizer injections, it just means that you've actually happened to have the vaccine in that same 2-week window when you were going to have the blood clot, whether you'd had the vaccine or not. So they've got to make sure that it is just that coincidence. We expect it because it's not uncommon to have these DVT clotting episodes, but they're just, as I said, if anything that occurs in proximity to a vaccine, they want to look at in detail. But the data to date suggests that the actual rates of these clotting disorders are lower than we normally see in the population, even when you're not rolling out the vaccine. So that's really reassuring and suggests that this is really just that abundance of caution to keep the public also knowing that that they're following all those safety checks.
So I guess just finally and briefly, people will say, well, if there's an abundance of caution in the EU, why not an abundance of caution, or is the same caution being exercised in Australia?
Yeah, look, it depends on the batch as well. So they've probably got different batches that have been delivered over there. And we, like the UK and like other countries, we're not going to that extent. And you would argue even in the countries that have just announced this, so France, Germany and Italy, their actual case numbers are going up. So this is an abundance of caution that comes with a cost to them. And they're still pulling back for some reason. And they do have other vaccines that they are using as well. So we are going to be relying on AstraZeneca for our broader rollout. At the moment, the focus has been on Pfizer, and we're just moving into that AstraZeneca phase. But given that the UK's had 11 million doses and no problems, I think we're pretty safe here.
Yeah, Italy, I think, even had excess. They couldn't roll out the vaccine quick enough, so maybe that's why they did so. Professor Bennett, always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.